Hello everyone, welcome to my video tutorial. So in this tutorial we are going to look at how to work with forms. So we already know that in HTML we need to design the form. So that is the front end part. But if you are going to submit the form data into the back end, how it's going to be work. So that's the main section that we are going to discuss in the form submission lesson. So let me first introduce what are things that you are going to look at. So we'll create a form and we'll be discussing what are the form methods, actions, and then we'll look at the name. So those are some main attributes that you should know when it's come to form submission. And then when you submit the form, what will be the next step? So when you submit the data, that will be handed over to the server. So server, at the beginning we have the Apache is running on in our SAMP application. So Apache will be get the request and hand it over to the PHP files. So in the PHP level, your data will be placed inside the super global array. So it can be $_get array, or it can be $_post array. So those are the things we are going to look at. So if I will create a basic form here. So we'll say this is contact.php file, and then I need another file. We'll say contact underscore submit.php file, right? And then I'll go into the contact page and create the HTML form. So we can use the get form first, and you can see here, like when I use the form attribute, there are two form tag, there are two attributes implemented by default. So one is called action and the other one is called method. So the action, what it's mean by the action? So when the form is submitted, you can present a place where the data should be handed over to. So it can be the same page or it can be a different page. So if I use to a second page, so I can use the contact underscore submit dot php. So I am use this same name because this is available in the same location. No any parent folder or no need to go inside the child folder. So both are lives in the same location. So I can simply use the file name. But if it is in a different location, so you need to give the actual path, absolute path or a relative path to that location. And the method, what we're going to tell for the form, that how you are supposed to pass this data. So in mainly we have two methods available. One is get and the other one is post. So with the term you can understand that the get and post means like you are post something to the server and you get something from the server. But in this example at the beginning, what I use is I am reversing it and I am using the get. So that means from the form I am give the get method. So it is something that wrong at this moment, but we'll try to understand the scenario by using the method. So in the get method, so in the get method what happens is in the URL we'll be passing all the data, so which is visualized for anyone to read. But we need to make sure that when you are submitting a form we should use the post method. So I'll create input tag. We'll say this is the name equals to title, and then I have another input which is email, and I have a text area. Name will say this is the description. I don't need the ID value, right? And then I need to have a submit button. So I'll use a name for this. We'll say this is contact, say contact, and value will say submit. So if I run this, we'll see all these in a single line. So the best thing is I'll put it into line breaks by adding the BR tag. So don't worry about the UI, so we just need to have a form. So that's the main concern. So I'll go to the code wrapper and contact.php. So you can see I am having the values given in here, right? So my next step is in the contact submit form. So I'll open the PHP code block and then just do a print underscore r. So see why I'm using the print underscore r, it's because of I know that get is an array, right? Okay, so if I just put a title, test title, and email p@gmail, and this is my description. So look at the URL. So how it pass, see it goes to a contact underscore submit.php file, and then you have a question mark defined. So this is automatically done by the browser according to the method that you list. So it's automatically put a question mark. So this question mark will be the separator of your domain address and your form data. So you can see here we have a title which is get assigned a value. So this is the value I put it in the input field, in the title input field, and the email which has the email address, and the description which has the description I submitted. So you will see some different symbols, numbers are presenting. So all these are related to URL encoding, where you will be the browser will do it for you, right? So for example, when you are putting the @ symbol, so you can't pass the @ symbol as it is in the URL. So the URL need to convert into alias symbol. So that's why it's used the %40, and the spaces are turned into plus symbols. So that's how it works. So you don't need to worry about it, but later on if you are going to append data into the URL, so you need to do that by yourself by using a PHP function. So the function is URL encode. So the next thing is you can see that our array get filled up with data. So it has the title index, email index, description index, and the contact index. So all these are mentioned in our contact form with the name attribute. So you can see title, email, submit, and the description. So that's what used by the get array to fill the data into the index. So the index name is defined by the name you have provided in the name attribute. So that's a special thing you need to remember, Right, to make it more clear, what I try to do is I'll just simply change this title. We'll say new title and enter. Now you can see that the page reload, and by the time it's get reload, our PHP array get refilled with the new data what has inside this URL. So since I put the new title, now our title index has the new value I type into the URL. So it's a very simple thing, but you need to understand the process. There are stepwise process you need to follow. So if I use this as a post method, and if I refresh this, the title, so now what will happen is, like, since I put the post, this will not going to send through the URL. It will use a different option. So it's actually going in the hidden form, but we can see it. I'll show you in the dev tools. We can view this data, and at the same time, since we are using get here, we may not able to view this because this form data will be handled by a different array. So that is called the print underscore so I'll use the print r and then dollar underscore post. So the post array will hold this post data. So if I submit it, you can see our first array is now empty, but the second array has the post value. And also I may able to see this in the URLs dev tools as well. Right, so let me submit it again. So you can see that our form data is passed in here in the header section under form data, right? So it's called to this contact underscore submit page as a post method, right? So the all data will be passing in here. So it's very simply you can understand how this data pass, right? So I'm not going to go in detail because the next step is we want to do the rest of the task. So for example, you need to do the validation, right? So what happens if someone has directly navigate to this page without filling the form, right? So that will be a headache. So we didn't have any information, but we have written the logic. So there are a lot of validations we can do. So those things we are going to discuss in the next step. So for now we understood like how the form behavior, like how you implement the form and how you pass data to the separate page, and in that page we'll be writing the PHP code by using the PHP arrays defined for the get array and the post array for the post, right? Okay, so we'll stop this session. So from the next videos we're going to look at the validations perspective and how you bind data into the database. So those things we are going to discuss. So we'll stop this session. Let me know if you have any doubts in this part, and I may able to help, and you can subscribe to my channel, and I'm very happy if you can give your feedback, so then I can improve these videos further. So we'll stop the session. Thank you for watching.